Good evening, everybody. This is Pastor Wendell Jones, and welcome to the Relevant Church. Thank y'all so much for tuning in another Monday night. And listen, I got three of my most favorite, my most favorite. There's no competition, no comparison. Favorite people in the world with me tonight. And it took us a minute to get started because we've been giggling. They are silly, and they just make me laugh. But tonight, I'm doing something that even my media director was surprised at and other folks are surprised about. I got my babies on the show tonight, and they're surprised. I'm real protective of these. I still am, regardless of this show. But I'm glad to have them in here tonight. And I really wanted to do a show with them because my baby girl will be moving away. So this may be the last time we all get a chance to do this for a while. So I wanted to get us all together tonight to talk about the life of a PK, the life of a preacher's kid. So let me introduce them to you as Miss Tina pans out, and they're still giggling and they're making me giggle. Over here to my left is the youngest one in the roost. That's Benjamin, who's rising sophomore down at Francis Marion University, basketball player down there, doing a great job academically. So proud of him. Also over here to my right, who looks like a zombie at the moment. There you go. Relax. Is my daughter Aaliyah, getting ready to go full force into adulting as she's moving down to Jacksonville to take on a nice position down at her first tee. Graduate of Wofford College and also MBA from University of Arkansas. I always forget that. At Little Rock, because they got all kind of University of Arkansas, but has a master's as well. And last but not least, my namesake, Wendell, graduated of USC Upstate, studying right now for his LSAT, looking to go to law school. Got my babies here to talk about what has it been like to be a PK, a preacher's kid. I'm nervous a little bit, but I'm also proud of them. Hey, y'all.
Hey.
I'm so glad y'all are with me. They nervous too, y'all. Listen. Let's jump right into this. Oh man, this is gonna probably make a real good bloopers reel. PK, preacher's kid. You know, most PKs get a pretty bad rep. Most people think PKs are kind of wild and undercover and do all kinds of stuff. But I'll be honest with you guys, I feel like your mom and I have been incredibly blessed with you guys. You guys haven't given us much issue at all. And for that, I'm very proud of you. I said much. I didn't say completely issueless. But you made me incredibly proud. But I've tried to protect y'all from stuff. But let me hear from you, because I'm sure you felt it. And we talked about it a little bit, but I want you to be honest. Just be brutally honest. What kind of pressure did you feel being a PK, being Pastor Jones' kid? What kind of pressure did you guys feel coming up?
We felt the pressure to be on the choir when we didn't want to.
The pressure to be on the choir.
And we tried to quit, but she wouldn't let us.
You guys did a great job on the choir.
Wendell led back to Eden.
He did. He did a great job.
Miss Tina, can you cut to that clip?
He jumped off the stage.
My son was into the song. Yes, he did a great job.
We don't need to bring this up.
We
don't need to bring this up.
Please cut to the clip.
Miss Tina, please don't. I'll work with you every Sunday. Please don't. Please don't.
All right, but seriously. Okay, y'all feel pressure back in 3506 to be on the choir.
And we couldn't go to the mall without people stopping us every 5 minutes.
Yes.
Oh, when we used to go to the mall.
Not just the mall. It was
Pretty much
park.
everywhere.
We got stopped at
Oh,
McDonald's.
yeah, I remember McDonald's. Talking about when we was on TV.
Yeah.
A lot of that was going on. A lot of people would stop us. Did you ever feel pressure from the members? Did you ever feel pressure to have to perform a certain way, be a certain way? Feel like you weren't safe to be yourself?
Go ahead.
I feel like you kind of had to uphold an image a little bit. Like if you seen somebody outside, like if I was on a school trip or something, and I seen somebody from the church, then like I feel like I had to shake into like Church Benjamin or something like that.
Church Benjamin. I get that. I get that. What about you guys?
That's like honestly, that's a perfect answer about them. It's kind of members have this set image of who you should be because we're extensions of you. Okay. So if you break that mold, then they feel like it feels like that we break some mold or expectation that they have of you. So
Okay. So you feel like whatever you did was a reflection of me?
yeah.
Gotcha. Leah, did you feel that way?
I like what they said for sure, but not really. I didn't feel. I mean, obviously, we heard from like members like, "Ooh, the PKs. Those are like the bad kids," and we're like, "Okay." I feel like it's like you live in a limbo between like you're supposed to be super, like everyone expects you to be super holy, but still be like the worst of the worst kids, and I'm like, how does that work out in your head that that's like what a person actually acts like?
Yeah. Let me give you. Let me just ask this: Did you feel and guys, you can be completely honest. Did you feel like I pressured you to be a certain way, or did you feel like me and mom gave you the liberty to be yourselves outside of being on the choir? After we got past the choir.
I don't feel like the pressure was really y'all. It was just more so, I guess, the environment in a sense. It's like you and mommy always allowed us to do what we wanted to do. Besides the choir,
We're not gonna let that choir straight now. I really thought y'all enjoyed the choir.
You wanted to go outside and play with the other kids.
All the other kids were on the choir too.
No, they all quit.
They quit, and so we'd watch them.
And we could see them out the window while we were singing.
They let me quit before y'all, I think.
Probably because you were screaming in the microphone every Sunday. So they would kick you off.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I agree. I don't really feel like we had pressure from y'all. If anything, just like,
you felt the eyes, kind of.
yeah, like, I ain't got time for nobody to be reporting me to my daddy, so.
Was that, well, according to Ben, it wasn't really just in the church, though. But y'all felt the pressure.
Like we had like teachers and stuff that knew you, like elementary school.
Yeah.
You had close, like Miss I don't know her name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've had people you had relationships with before that we knew would come back to you and stuff. Word would come back to you. So.
And going to darn Wofford, like, everybody know this man.
Yeah, your first year, you called me a lot. Like, you started being in my shadow at Wofford.
I'm scared to do anything. They probably know my daddy.
Imagine looking like him. Everywhere I go, it's kind of like, that. You are your daddy's son.
Does that feel like pressure? I mean, granted, you look like me, but they always saying you're your daddy's son. How do you internalize that?
I mean, there's some pressure because it's the namesake. So it's like everybody sees what you do. And so they kind of expect for the three of us to continue on with that. And sometimes it feels like they have a set image of what that is for us. Mm-hmm. But I guess you just try navigate it your own way in a sense. So there's some pressure, but not as much.
I try to intentionally counter that, and I hope I came across to y'all with that in terms of trying to make sure that you knew that you could pursue your own stuff. You can go be who you want to be. Because it was funny to me. I actually had people say that they thought I was making y'all do things. No, but they get to pursue careers and what have you, whatever you want. How did we do in that? I think you just said a little bit, Leo, but I want to ask you directly. In terms of you being able to trying to basically find your way and decide who you wanted to be.
Say it again.
But let me ask. Let's just jump ahead. How about this question? Because this is what people really want to know. Any future preachers sitting right here? Anybody to take over the ministry? All that stuff that people be wanting to know.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Pastor J.
Yeah,
Pastor J.
he got that.
So nobody wants to pastor. Nobody wants to be a preacher.
No.
Let me ask this: why not?
I plead the fifth.
How you plead the fifth? No. Come on, talk to me. And listen, you can be honest. Because I get it. Y'all in the front row. Y'all watch some stuff. Y'all observe some stuff. We laugh. We're having a good time. But everything about this has not been funny. Everything about this has not been joyful for y'all because it hadn't been joyful for me. So let's talk about that. Why is the thought of being a preacher or pastor unappealing?
It just like looks super stressful from the sideline, like looking at you and the work that you do. How you like always working 24/7, even though it's not just church work, but it still seems like it's a lot on your brain and on your body, a huge toll and stuff.
That's true, man. That's true.
As your former admin, you know I don't have patience.
As my she did spend. How long you spent as my administrator?
A year.
A year. And you don't have.
No, a little more than a year. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so you say you don't have faith. You don't have patience for what?
Them people.
Them people.
Mm-hmm. They got nasty attitudes for no reason.
That does happen.
Y'all be asking for it. Y'all better be glad he don't let me respond the way I want to.
She mean that. And no, we're not gonna edit that out. Wendell, what's your why for not doing it?
I mean, not to piggyback, but there's this expectation that feels like that you have to be perfect because, you know, you're the head of a church. So that means there's this idea that God directly speaks to you, which he does. But at times it feels like for certain people, they feel like they have to get God through you instead of through themselves. Mm-hmm. And so they place this large expectation of you can't mess up at all, as if we're not human. And I don't want that.
I don't do this.
Yeah, I think they have an expectation of you to be everything for everyone, and you ain't God. So
that's true. That's true. That's true. But let's stay in that same vein a little bit. Is there anything about church that you resent? Other than the choir. Let's not go back to the choir.
Y'all not dropping us off at home.
Say again?
Y'all not dropping us off at home. And bringing us here every day.
Oh, y'all was
We did spend a lot of hours at church.
Every
like
day.
too much.
Y'all was in church too much.
We were at church every day.
Every day.
Yeah, was it? Yeah, because we
For
brought y'all
years.
after school.
After
Monday to
school.
Sunday.
Every
Y'all
day.
wanted us to pick you up from school,
Go
and
home.
take you to the house, and let you be little latchkey kids. But y'all was here breaking stuff at the church.
We broke one thing.
Y'all, yeah, y'all.
All right.
We broke
Did
one
Ben
thing.
Tell on it. Tell on
He
it?
tried to. He said, "Ooh, open the tell." Mama said, "What you gonna tell? I'm right here."
I thought y'all was running around seemingly having fun. So y'all rather have fun and run around the house?
I mean, it was like we made the most of it, you know, with what we had. Remember the wheelchair racing?
Y'all was racing up and down the hall in wheelchairs.
Mhm.
Yes.
Like,
See, but y'all didn't
This
have
was our
wheelchairs to
playground.
play with. Exactly. Y'all have more stuff to play with at the church.
No, we could have
Y'all
watched
would've-
TV at the house.
Did-
You know we don't like to share no TV. It's only one TV in the church. All of us cannot agree on what channel.
But see, being
Yeah, I
at the church
spent-
made y'all play together because if y'all would have went home, y'all would have been in separate rooms.
I spent too many hours watching America's Top Model, or whatever you.
Aaliyah made you watch America's Top Model. Yeah. Okay. Other than the fact, is there anything else? Yes, we did. There came a time though when we took it. When y'all got older, y'all got to go home. But when y'all
We had cars.
exactly.
no, we had
10
practice.
years down the line.
We had practice in high school, so we were at the high school.
Yeah, that's true.
When y'all had y'all got cars. Y'all were more independent. But when y'all was in middle school,
Who was at the church?
shit, y'all had to be here. Is there anything else?
I guess for me, kind of going back to, you know, the expectation, in a certain sense, I don't really like the constant you have to forgive, even though I know forgiveness is required. Put that out, but you can have people flip on you for you not doing what they thought you should have done. And then, let's say if they do return, or if they want to keep relationships outside of the church, it's like you gotta be nice. I'm a nice guy, but I don't want to be nice to you after what you just did. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, I recall a conversation. You was riding in the car with me one time. You was expressing your concern about, well, you asked the question, why do I still do things for people who have mistreated me? You were bothered by that.
yeah.
Is that something y'all? Because I know y'all. I've learned. I didn't know, but I've learned y'all have y'all little evenings together. Y'all have all these. The three of y'all, and y'all talk about stuff that I didn't know y'all talked about. Did y'all talk about those things? Especially when you have to witness the different things in church, things that was done to you, done to your mom, what have you. How did y'all handle that amongst yourselves? Because I know a lot of times y'all didn't bring it to us. Because I know you didn't want to add pressure. How did y'all handle that among yourselves?
One of y'all want to go before me? Well, I guess they're like kind of multiple ways, because sometimes you wouldn't learn until after the fact of what had happened. And so, like, for years, you could think that the relationship was okay because you were nice to them. But then you learn something that happened in the past. And you're like, I've been operating with you as if everything's okay. Meanwhile, you did that. And I don't really rock with that. So there's that aspect. But then also just for like those that you knew at the moment. I mean, I know myself, I would like want to defend you, but I can't do that. That's not my role. So you gotta smile. Like, how do you do it? You say something.
Y'all got to love. What that? Well, talk to me, guys, and tell me. Just be straight up with me. How do you feel about how I've handled situations in the church? Did you think I was too nice, too passive, or you wish I would have done things differently? I can recall some things y'all told me to do, but tell me how you think I did with that? Too nice? What is it?
I can't think of a like situation right now.
I'm looking at my daughter's face.
I feel like in most situations you're just the bigger person. Yeah.
How do you feel about me trying to do that? Did you sometimes wish I wouldn't be?
I just feel like that's just how you are.
Yeah, but I'm asking you what you wanted me to do.
You gonna get to heaven your way, and I'm gonna get there mine.
How would you handle it? Never mind. What would you about to say?
He talking about we be nice to them, we smile, and I'm like, who do that?
I was smart. But I mean, something you kind of instilled in us from being a kid is like protect the name, and we know that you spent the last 50 years building your name to where it is now, and we know you're not going to do something intentionally to break that, so we can't really I can't really fault you for, I guess being nice to them, being the bigger person. It's like your principle. So, yeah.
What do you wish I would have done? I'm waiting for one of y'all to tell the truth.
I mean, God wasn't nice to everybody in the Bible.
God wasn't nice to everybody in the Bible. Smite them.
Some people had to catch it, but that's not who you are. So I can't fault you or look at you differently for that. That's who you are. Now, if there's a moment, what do you do? Because then it's like, oh, you took it to that point. But
It takes a lot.
Yeah.
But when I go, I go.
Yeah.
So, you smile like you're proud of that. Well, let's close out with this one. You guys, you're our baby. You're my baby, and you've had a front row seat to our lives. And your mom and I went through a very public and painful divorce. And you guys were there. And of course, you know, you were my utmost concern during all of that. And you had to watch her do that in front of the church and watch the ramifications of all of that. How did you feel going through that? What are your thoughts about that? How do you feel that we did it publicly? Whatever you want to say about it.
I think a lot of people not necessarily, some people in the church, and people in the upstate acted like their poop don't stink too. And that's a nice way to say it. Yeah, just saying some really outlandish things that all of us chose not to speak on, because at the end of the day, like, it's not their business what was going on. But a lot of people who did not know what was going on at all acted like they were very informed people, and they were flies on the wall in our households, and knew exactly what was going on. We ain't heard from you in years, so you don't know what you're talking about. I think it showed a lot of people's true colors and their lack of empathy and lack of like respect for people and their business and the things that they're going through, which in turn like makes it hard for you to respect them as a person going forward, just because of how they handled a very personal situation.
That's something to say about that, to add to that.
Aaliyah really hit it like on the nail. There was a lot of rumors, unnecessary rumors, you know, for their own reasons. That we won't speak of, or their own intentions, but you really saw for some people who they were behind the mask that they put on, you know, whether it was for some who were in the church and those in the community and those with deeper ties to us. Yeah.
You don't have to bite your lips, express yourself.
I guess you see the true nature of humankind in the sense that this was a private moment that you and mommy chose to make public due to the position. But in that public moment, you also requested privacy for certain things. And our desire to know every little thing, even if that comes to the point of I'll make something up and see if that sticks. You know, see how, if they get word of it, if they react, if it's true or not. When you find out who the source of that rumor was, it's painful. Especially if there's been years developed in that relationship. Or not even years, but you allowed them to get close enough where they have better access to you. I'll say though, for like most of the people our age, there was a kind of respect thing in a sense, especially in the church. They didn't really ask much of us about what was going on. You get maybe the occasional, are you okay? You know, how you holding up with it? And so you kind of knew who was true and who wasn't.
There were many facets to that was very painful, as you guys know. But this is the part that probably rattled me the most, because as your father and even as a husband, covering you guys and everything to me. Not just you, covering your mom. And it's hard to do that and have, and while also feeling obligated to say something about that. I appreciate what you said. I appreciate what you said this whole broadcast. But I do want to tell you guys publicly, man, I'm proud of y'all. I'm so grateful with how the three of you handled yourself through that ordeal, how you handling yourself even now. I'm proud of how you stay focused with school, uh, with your athletics, with your goals. I know your hearts were broken too. Uh, I know, and we're all still healing. And I know it absolutely frustrates you all because we talked about it. How people outside of us, y'all kind of articulate it, act like they were hurting just as bad as we were. That it was wanted us to console them instead of us working on ourselves. But with great pride, I watch you hold your heads up. I watch you not shrink away. I watch you guys hunker down, and y'all are very protective of us, me and your mom. Uh, I'll also say publicly, and I love the maturity of this. Uh, you guys have never picked sides. You love both of us the way you've always loved us, and we still act as family. We still travel, still do stuff. Um, but thank y'all. Thank you. Thank you for being my kids. You know, uh, you guys constantly remind me that God loves me. He does. There you go. To entrust me with three of His greatest creations. Thank you. Uh, thank you for how you check on me and your mom. Thank you for how you allow us to be human. You allow us to be flawed. Thank you for the honest conversations we've had when you didn't like some things, you disagreed with some things. I'm grateful for how three of you are learning how to articulate yourself and express yourself. Um, I'm grateful that you didn't allow the pressures of being in my shadow and being a PK uh, make you perform to your detriment. Um, again, man, I love y'all, and I do. I feel like one of the luckiest people in the world is to be your dad. And I mean that. And don't let these people outside of us pressure you. Go after your own goals. Become your own man. Become your own woman. Listen to God for yourselves and go get it. And know this, till my last breath, I got you. Because the one thing I know about y'all, that y'all have shown me, y'all got me too. All right, folks. We let you peep into our family a little bit. You will know yourselves. These are my babies. And I'm, as you can tell, I'm proud of them. But we gave you some insight into the life of PK. And hopefully it doesn't just appeal to your curiosity, but I hope it stirs up a word that you heard Aaliyah say. Empathy. Empathy. Empathy not just for us, but empathy for anybody that's brave enough to be in a leadership position, to give people access to their lives and hopes to improve their lives. Empathy for your pastors, folks who don't go here to see by him. Empathy to anybody who decides to take some role that's for your advantage. We're not super. And as Leah said, please stop acting like your poop don't stink. Everybody's struggling with something. The titles don't make you superhumans. The titles just expose your responsibilities and force you to grow up in public. But while I'm growing up in public, sometimes your expectations and sometimes your behaviors impact those attached to me, like these three beautiful people around this table. Think about that. Think about that when you're spreading rumors. Think about that when you're acting like you're closer than you really are. Think about it like that when you're being opportunistic with somebody else's pain. Let's be empathetic. Let's love each other. That's something that I always say. Everybody gets a turn. It may be me this time, but everybody gets a turn. And when it's your turn, you're going to want empathy. You're going to want grace. You're going to want understanding. All right? Put some hearts on that screen. Just not for me, for my babies. For being bold enough to be on this show. All right. Till next time. Y'all wanna do it? Until next time. Now y'all gonna whisper and not do it when you till next time. Much love.
Are you ready for that?